Before the wave came, nobody wanted this dog. After it happened, the whole village wept for him. This is Kuro, a stray with a torn ear, sleeping under fishing boats, chased away from every door in town. Except one. Old Jiro, a fisherman who lived alone, left scraps by his boat every single morning without fail. Jiro never petted him, never called him close. He just left food and looked away like it was nothing. But Kuro noticed. Every dawn, he waited by that same wooden post, watching the old man's boat come home. Down the shore lived Sora, 6 years old, always in her yellow raincoat, chasing crabs along the tide pools. Sora was the only child who ever waved at Kuro, the only one who wasn't afraid of his scars. "You're not scary," she told him once. "You just look tired." Kuro didn't understand her words, but he understood kindness. That summer, the village elders spoke of a storm brewing far out at sea, bigger than any in memory. Jiro pulled his boat in early. Fishermen tied down their nets. Everyone braced their homes for what was coming. Everyone, except Sora, who slipped away that afternoon to search for one last seashell before the rain began. Kuro saw her go. Something in him, some old instinct, told him not to let her out of sight. The sky turned the color of a bruise. Wind tore at the flags. The first drops fell like warning shots. Sora didn't notice. She was too busy chasing a shell rolling at the edge of the churning gray water. Kuro barked. Once. Twice. She laughed, thinking it was a game, and ran further down the slippery rocks. Then the first real wave hit. Not high, but fast, and it pulled the sand right out from under her. Sora screamed as the current dragged her past the breakers, past the rocks, out into the darkening open sea. In the village, no one heard her. The storm was already roaring. Windows shook. Nobody looked toward the shore. But Kuro heard. He didn't hesitate. He didn't know how to swim well, but he ran straight for the water. Jiro, latching his shutters, caught a flash of black fur diving off the rocks and dropped everything he held. "Sora!" He screamed into the wind, sprinting toward the shore, his old legs fighting through the rising water. Kuro fought the current with everything he had, waves slamming him under, again, dragging him from the girl. Each time, he surfaced. Each time, he swam harder, eyes locked only on the small yellow shape ahead of him. Finally, his teeth found the collar of her raincoat, and he pulled with everything left in his body. The sea did not want to let her go. It threw them both against a rock, hard, and pulled again. Kuro's back leg struck stone, and something inside it cracked, but his grip on her raincoat never loosened, not once. Jiro reached the shoreline just as a wave rolled them both toward the sand, then dragged them back out. He waded in past his waist, screaming her name, reaching, the cold water tearing at his old, tired arms. With one last surge, Kuro shoved Sora toward the shallows, right into Jiro's outstretched, shaking hands. Jiro pulled her to safety, coughing, sobbing, alive. He turned back to grab the dog who had saved her. But the same wave that gave him Sora had already pulled Kuro back, out past the rocks, into darkness. "Kuro!" Jiro screamed, but his voice was swallowed by thunder. There was nothing left to see but black water. That night, the whole village learned what one small stray dog had done, and what the sea had taken. Sora would not stop crying, not from fear, but for the dog who was somewhere out in that storm. Jiro sat by the shore till dawn, refusing to move, refusing to believe the water had won. At sunrise, the whole village walked the coastline together, calling one name into the wind: Kuro. 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 Hour after hour, they searched the rocks, the coves, the tide pools, finding only broken driftwood and silence. By the second day, some said it was time to stop. Jiro refused. Sora refused. They searched anyway. On the third morning, a fisherman spotted something in a sea cave, half hidden beneath a fallen shelf of rock. A shape, barely breathing, black fur matted with salt and blood, one leg twisted beneath him at the wrong angle. Kuro had crawled from the water 3 days earlier, too broken to move, too stubborn to stop breathing. Jiro was the first one in the water, swimming to that cave faster than a man his age should move. He lifted Kuro like he weighed nothing, cradling him against his chest, whispering, "I've got you now. I've got you." Sora ran the whole way down the beach, dropping to her knees beside them both, sobbing into his fur. The village vet said the leg could heal, but only with rest and someone willing to fight for him. Jiro didn't hesitate. He fought the ocean for her, he said. I can fight this for him. Weeks passed. Every morning, Sora sat beside Kuro's basket, reading to him, brushing his fur, waiting for him to stand. Every evening, Jiro carried him gently to the shore, just to feel the sea breeze on his fur again. Slowly, the limp grew smaller. Slowly, the shine came back to his eyes. Slowly, he began to trust being loved. One bright morning, without anyone lifting him, Kuro stood on his own and took his first real steps forward. Sora screamed with joy so loud the whole street came running, just to see the dog who wouldn't give up. The village that once chased him away now lined the docks, cheering as Kuro walked past every single door. They built him a small wooden house by the harbor, painted the same blue as Jiro's old fishing boat. They carved his name above the door. Kuro, the dog who waded through the storm and won. Now every child in the village knows his story, the stray no one wanted, who wanted them anyway. Sora grew older, but every single morning, she still walks down to that little blue house by the water. And every single morning, an old dog with a notched ear and a wave-shaped mark waits there for her. Because real love isn't loud. It doesn't ask to be noticed. It just shows up, again and again, in the storm. Kuro never asked to be a hero. He just couldn't imagine a world where he didn't try to save her. If this story moved you, share it. Somewhere, a stray dog is still waiting for someone to simply notice him.